Week 18 of the 2023-24 NBA season is over, which means it's time to run it back. This is Run It Back, NBA Week in Review, Los Angeles Clippers edition. I'm Jose Salviati, editor at thePeachBasket.net and formerly the featured columnist covering the Clippers for Bleacher Report. This is a show where we recap the week that was for the LA Clippers and then highlight their marquee matchup for the week to come. Let's start like we always do by looking at where the team lands on the Peach Basket's objective power rankings this week. Clippers finished the week at 1-1. It was another short week in the NBA due to the All-Star game break. So there was not a lot of movement in the power rankings overall. You can see where every team lands going to the thePeachBasket.net. The Clippers stay at number 4 in the West and number 5 overall. Now, that 1-1 week was a bit deflating. I predicted all wins for the Clippers this week, but they came out of the gate after the All-Star game break with a real dud against the Thunder. That was a game that I felt the Clippers would want to send a message to the association that they were ready for the playoffs. A message was definitely sent, but it wasn't the one the Clippers wanted. Thankfully for the Clippers, they rebounded against a gritty Timberwolves team on the road to break even for the week. Let's look at who did it best for the Clippers in key categories in week number 18. The Clippers were once again led in points by Kawhi Leonard. He averaged 22 points over his 2 games played. Norman Powell only played 1 game in week 18, but he made 4 3-point shots to lead the Clippers. Kawhi was the best overall shooter at 9.5 field goals made on average. Ivica Zubac averaged 11 rebounds to lead the team. Big Zoo and Terrence Mann led the Clippers, averaging 3.5 offensive rebounds. T-Man is a very good offensive rebounder. I still think he learned by watching Patrick Beverley when he was with the Clippers. Zoo led the way with the most defensive rebounds at 7.5. James Harden, once again, was the key assist man, averaging 5 over his 2 games. And this is weird, but in an odd quirk, Norman Powell led the Clippers with a single block in his single game played. Apparently, there was not a lot of rim protection happening for the Clippers in Week 18. Amir Coffey and Kawhi Leonard led the team with 2 steals, averaged over their 2 games played. The top game score for the Clippers in Week 18 goes to Kawhi Leonard with a not incredibly impressive 17. Not a great score, and again, not a great overall week for the Clippers, but it didn't cost them in the standings. As we look ahead to Week 19 for the Clippers, it's a homestand. Now, it starts with the Sacramento Kings. Then they welcome their neighbor, the Los Angeles Lakers. And then finally, they finish the week off against the Washington Wizards. Now, I made the point last week, and it shows that you might be listening to, that after the All-Star game, teams with championship aspirations generally flip a switch, right? Things get serious. The Clippers stumbled out of the gate in their first game after the break, so the time to flip the switch is now. The game against the Kings is the most intriguing, definitely, just because of where the Kings are in the standings, but the game against the Lakers is the most interesting. I've been saying for a while that for the Clippers to gain any respect in the city, and it's an uphill battle, but if they're going to do it, they have to go through the Lakers. Now, that really needs to happen in the playoffs, and this is not a playoff game, obviously, but a win against the Lakers at this time of the season means a lot. So the game is the one that I have my focus on. I think it's going to be important. It's going to be real telling to see if the Clippers are ready. I mean, are they ready to flip that switch? Are they playoff ready? Because the Lakers could very well be a team that they meet in the playoffs. Now, apologies to the Washington Wizards, but that's not a game that anyone has marked on their calendar. And, of course, watch that be the game that the Clippers lose. I see them losing a game in Week 19. Again, optimistic that they are ready to flip that switch, and they're going to send a message to the Kings, to the Lakers, and they're going to beat the Wizards because the Wizards are just not a particularly good team. So I see them winning all 3. 2-1 would be nice, but 3-0 is the prediction, and we're going to stick with it. I'll end with a quick look at the Clippers news. We call this full court press. I just type in Los Angeles Clippers and see if anything interesting and worth talking about comes up on page 1. Today, these 2 articles caught my eye. We'll start with an article entitled "The Paul George Trade Created One of the NBA's Best Duos. It Also Birthed a Potential NBA Dynasty" by Tim McMahon for ESPN. Now, this is interesting because at first glance, it looks to be a Clippers article, right? The trade that brought Paul George over created undeniably one of the NBA's best duos in Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. It also should have created an NBA dynasty. I mean, that's why Clippers did it. They had those two, and the team built around them would win multiple championships. Anybody who tells you different is lying. And really, I mean, that's every team. But there is no potential NBA dynasty in Los Angeles. Instead, that potential NBA dynasty is in Oklahoma City. Jalen Williams, Chet Holmgren, Gilgeous-Alexander are the basis of the foundation of a potential NBA dynasty. That team right now is playing really well. It's a 50-win team. They're going to have to prove it in the playoffs, and they may not there this season. They've got some things to learn, but this is a very, very good team, and they have got a ton of first-round picks thanks to that trade. So, yeah, absolutely an NBA dynasty. We'll see how things play out in Oklahoma City. Well, let me do you, because this is actually says it well. Paul George said about the trade, I just think both sides won. I did think it was quite a lot that the Clippers were willing to give up, but their commitment to me is my commitment to them. So just appreciative that they went out and grabbed me and brought me over here. Very appreciative of Steve Ballmer. Both sides won. And I think that's true. Now, for the Clippers to really say they won, they've got to win the championship. Let's see if this is the year they do that. Next article, Clippers start second half certain they have the chemistry to win, by Broderick Turner for the LA Times. Now, I'll be real honest with you. I didn't read that article. It's a paywalled, but what caught my eye was the title, right? The chemistry to win. The chemistry is nice. You want to have it. It makes going to work fun, but it doesn't matter in terms of winning. And I can't help it that Broderick Turner dives into that in this article. But the title just threw me. Kobe and Shaq famously, particularly get along, but they won titles. I think it was the days of the 70s. I might be wrong in baseball that famously didn't like each other, but they won World Series. Chemistry is nice, but it is on par with saying your team has the desire to win. Every team has the win. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Chemistry is nice, but it is not going to get you to the finals, and it's certainly not going to lift the LOB for you. So I was a little thrown by the article, or the article title. But again, I might just be a little nitpicky on that one. That's it. Week 18 of the Clippers 2023, 24 NBA season is in the books. Join us next week after week 19 when we once again run it back.